All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're jumping into a really big idea, cultural pluralism. And we're going to do it by looking at one of the most diverse places on the entire planet, India. This is really the story of how countless cultures can, somehow, come together and become one nation.
But first, before we really dive in, I want to start with a question about you. And this is inspired by the economist Amartya Sen. Just take a second and think about all the different groups you belong to. Your job, your family, the city you live in, your hobbies. It's never just one single thing, right? And that idea right there, the fact that we all have these multiple identities, that we belong to so many different groups all at the same time, well, that's the absolute key to understanding what we're talking about today. It's not about having to choose one identity over another. It's about embracing every single part of who you are. Okay, so let's get into it. What exactly is cultural pluralism? Well, at its very core, it's this idea of coexistence. But here's the important part. It's not just about, tolerating other people's differences. It's about actively building a society where all these different cultures can truly thrive, side by side, without losing what makes them unique. And when you think about this idea, there is probably no country on Earth that embodies it quite like India. I mean, the whole concept is described there with this simple but incredibly powerful phrase, unity in diversity. It's not just a slogan, it's really a foundational philosophy. It captures the very soul of the nation. India's very first prime minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, was just fascinated by this. He looked around and basically asked, how is this possible? How could all these completely distinct cultures, each with its own language, its own customs, its own long history, not only manage to live together, but actually come together to form one single, unified Indian identity?
So that's the big question, right? How did India become this incredible cultural mosaic? Well, the answer goes way, way back. We're talking about a 5,000-year history of just absorbing one influence after another. For literally millennia, it's been this amazing crossroads of civilizations.
Now, the really crucial thing to get here is that each new wave of people didn't just wipe the slate clean. No way. It's more like they added another layer to the cake. You had the ancient Harappans. They laid the foundation. Then the Aryans brought Sanskrit. Fast forward, and the Mughals introduced Persian, which then mixed with local languages and gave us Urdu. Even the British left their mark, especially on things like the educational system. So every single group left its footprint, adding to this incredibly rich tapestry of Indian civilization. And the results of this long, layered history, it's just a staggering level of diversity. I mean, let's just take language, for example. The Indian Constitution officially recognizes 22 different languages. And these aren't just dialects. Each one has its own deep, rich literary tradition. But wait, it gets crazier. Those 22 are just the official ones. If you count everything, there are more than, get this, 1,600 languages and dialects spoken across the country. I mean, just try to wrap your head around that. It's a linguistic tapestry that is literally unlike anywhere else on the planet. And this diversity, it's not just about language. It's also deeply, deeply spiritual. So while most Indians are Hindu, the country is also home to one of the largest Muslim populations in the world. And what's really amazing is that India is the actual birthplace of 4 major world religions. We're talking Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. And on top of that, it's welcomed and integrated other faiths for centuries. And you can actually see all of this diversity in one place every single year on January 26th. The Republic Day Parade in New Delhi, it's so much more than just a military parade. It's this vibrant, incredible showcase of the country's pluralism. You have every single state presenting its unique culture with music, dancing, and these amazing floats. It's really a powerful, living, breathing metaphor for the whole country's philosophy. Okay, so when you see all of this, it naturally leads to a really important question. With this much diversity, I mean a mind-boggling amount, how does a nation this huge and complex not just fall apart? Well, a massive part of the answer lies in a single, remarkable document, the Indian Constitution. You can think of it as the legal and moral framework. It's the glue that holds this entire cultural mosaic together. And, it's been called a multicultural document, and for very good reason. It wasn't written to just sort of tolerate diversity. Not at all. It was specifically designed to actively protect and nurture it. The people who wrote it, they understood that India's greatest strength is its diversity. And it does this in some really specific, concrete ways.
For starters, India is constitutionally secular. That means no official state religion. You have the right to be educated in your own mother tongue. Minority groups can set up and run their own schools, and they can even get funding from the state to do it. These aren't just nice ideas. These protections are legally woven right into the fabric of the nation. But let's be real. Protecting this kind of pluralism is not easy. It's a constant effort. And in a world that's changing so fast, this delicate balance faces challenges all the time, both from inside the country and from forces on the outside. The scholar Martha Nussbaum has a really interesting way of looking at it. She argues that the main conflict inside a pluralistic society isn't necessarily a clash between, say, one culture and another. No, the real clash is between two basic ways of thinking. On one hand, you have people who are okay with and even welcome living with others who are different. And on the other hand, you have people who look for the comfort and perceived safety of everyone being the same. And then, at the very same time, you've got this huge external force of globalization pushing in. It poses a totally different kind of question. I mean, as global fashion and food and media become more and more common everywhere, how does a country like India hold on to its thousands of unique local traditions? It's this really delicate balancing act that's happening every single day. So, all of this kind of brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? What does it really take for an idea like this to work in the long run? What's that essential spirit, that mindset that you need not just to put up with difference, but to genuinely, truly celebrate it? And maybe nobody answered that question better than Mahatma Gandhi. With that simple but incredibly profound statement, he wasn't just acknowledging other people. He was claiming their identity as a part of his own. Think back to that very first question I asked you about who you are. Gandhi's answer kind of suggests that the more we embrace all those different identities inside ourselves, the easier it becomes to see ourselves in other people. It's a radical act of empathy. And that just maybe is the real key to the whole thing.